So hi everyone, and yeah, thank you for your interest in studying at UCD. So happy to see you here in the session. I would like to introduce the MSc Management Program to you. I'm Julia Backmann, and I'm the Program Director of the MSc Management. And I'm also an assistant professor at UCD, School of Business, and teach classes such as organizational behavior, innovation management, and change management, both at undergraduate and graduate levels. But I'm not here on my own, so I have a team with me that are also happy to help and attend to your questions. So we have a really the different perspectives from program management, from the student perspective to also admissions. So yeah, I would like to hand over to Neve, Joanna, and Richard to briefly introduce themselves, and Orna as well. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I am Neve Smith and I'm the Program Manager for MSc Management Full-Time. So I would be one of the main points of contact as well as Julia on the program that you can talk to with regards to any query you've got. Hopefully I'll be able to resolve it for you and point you in the right direction. And I look forward to meeting you all in the near future.
Hello, my name is Orna O'Brien. I'm the Director at the Centre for Distance Learning, which looks after the part-time mode of study. We specialise in part-time deliveries. I work very closely with Julia and the Programme Manager, Jur, who would be the student support for any academic or admin queries on the programme. So anyone who's interested in the part-time programme will be seeing a lot of myself and Jur in the coming years.
All right, Richard.
I was going to let ladies go first, but Richard Murphy is my name, and I'm one of the admissions managers here in the UCD Smurfit Business School. So I would look after processing and I suppose giving you your offer if you're lucky enough to get onto this program. But I'm here to help with any admissions related queries and even eligibility and sort of initial inquiries would all come through the admissions office. So happy to help.
Yeah, and Joanna.
Hi guys, I'm Joanna and I'm a current student in the Full-Time Management Program. I'm also a class ambassador, so hopefully I'll be able to give you some good perspectives on kind of the things that you won't see on the website, kind of the day-to-day happenings. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for being here. So yeah, let's speak about the MSc Management Program, all right? I hope you can all see the slides. And what actually makes the program so unique, or what is the MSc Management Program? So the program has been specifically designed for non-business graduates who want to pursue a career within management. So this includes, but is definitely not limited to graduates from engineering, arts, law, science, social sciences, healthcare, sports, and so forth. We also have lots of students that studied language in their undergraduate studies. So the course really aims to provide a very solid foundation of the key areas with the management. So, and the good news too is that the program can actually be studied as an intense 12-month full-time program or as a 2-year, also intense part-time program that can be studied while you're working. So this is really quite a unique feature because we separated the full-time and the part-time program to be better able to cater for the needs of those two quite diverse student cohorts. So that also means that for the part-time, the scheduling is much more flexible, more scheduled on the weekends, on Fridays and Saturdays. Usually have around 4 release weekends of our modules for the part-time program in a semester. So the first one is happening on the 27th and 28th of August, actually, with the welcome session. So to apply for the program, what do you actually need? You need to have a minimum second class honors degree from an area that is not business. And if your native language is not English, you may need to have an English language qualification. So if you do not meet the entry requirements, we decide on a case-by-case basis based on your experience, if you can still be considered. So do get in contact if you have queries about this. As you can see here, the indicative rates for both the full-time and the part-time program. Good news is if you are an UCD alumni, you are eligible for 5% fee reduction. So yeah, if you have studied your undergrads, for instance, at UCD, this will apply as well. So what are the core modules that you will be studying? So as mentioned before, the program has been specifically designed for the needs of non-business students in their undergraduates, and therefore we really provide the foundation of most important management subjects. And yeah, as you can see here, this is the outline for the full-time program. We get to the part-time program in a moment as well. As you can see here, the program covers quantitative and quite numerical topics such as accounting, finance, economics, operations, and supply chain management, but also looks into strategic management, human resource management, marketing, leadership and organizational behavior, and further topics. So you'll find a lot of information on each specific module on our UCD website on the Smurfit Graduate School. So you can go to the website and actually see what each module is specifically about. And you can see here, specifically for the first trimester in the full-time program, it's quite quantitative, but we also try to balance it out with other modules such as cultural competencies and human resource management as part of the coursework. So overall, it's a quite intense one-year program. And the schedule for the part-time program is quite similar, obviously spread over the course of 2 years, and also in slightly different order. Here you can see the spring trimester is actually the most quantitative trimester. But as you bring students in from very different backgrounds and experiences, there's also a lot of students that are knowledgeable about the quantitative methods, and you have student groups that work closely together. So another difference here is that you also have a research project you tend to use to work on a research project, usually within your own organization, and try to apply research methods and frameworks to come up with implications and solution to a specific problem, mainly within your own organization that you work for. So how did we actually, or how do we teach, and why do we teach the way we teach? If you can see that, from the latest Human Resource Council from Forbes, they actually did a survey about what actually recruiters are looking for at the moment. And the main skill sets that they came up with were both related to a lot of problem-solving skills, but also to be flexible, to be adaptable, and especially to work under changing requirements and circumstances. As you can see here, having a growth mindset, so kind of learning oriented, so quite related to the second one that you are striving for continuous learning. Then adaptability and flexibility on 5. But they also looked into critical thinking, being able to work with ambiguity and dedication, so really having problem-solving capabilities. So we kind of constantly also check what the market requires and try to use the topics that we are teaching, as well as how we teach, incorporate that into our curriculum. So as you can see on the slides before about the different classes that we actually teach, so this is mainly to provide you with an understanding of the various subject domains of management. So we do not really only aim to develop your knowledge, but also your skills and your mindset. But you may ask yourself, what does this actually mean? Okay, so in terms of knowledge, as seen before on the schedules, we really try to cover the most important topics that are related to management. We use also well-respected lecturers who have a lot of experience in their field, who have been internationally trained, and are able to build on global content and also global experience quite a lot. So we also develop several of your skills that are highly relevant for managerial work, especially when it comes to your communication skills, your teamwork skills, but also focusing on reflective and critical thinking, as well as your problem-solving skills, because these skills relate back to what is actually required in the market at the moment. So how do we actually do this? We focus on a lot of group-based learning, and have a lot of team projects, and also rely on problem-oriented as well as experiential learning. For instance, we include a business simulation where you go through complex business problem step by step, and need to decide on a continuous basis. So also the module coordinators that are teaching use a very wide variety of learning and teaching methods, simulations I've mentioned before, cases, but also individual and group work, presentations, interactive use of technology, and also corporate guest speakers coming in. So basically, through the development of your skills and the continuous interactions with your fellow students, also with the program management and the faculty and the staff and alumni and corporate leaders, we aim to broaden your mindset so that you are able to embrace innovation, cultural sensitivity, as well as strategic thinking. And most important, especially in those current times, also do not shy away from the challenges, because experiencing and mastering challenges together in the end is a fantastic learning opportunity to help that the learning in the end also really sticks, okay? Another important feature is actually of the MSc Management Program, and that's what I personally also really like about the program, is its diversity. So we not only bring different cultures together, but students in this program really come from very different fields and areas, which provides a fantastic learning opportunity in itself, to be honest. So our students learn a lot from each other, and actually bring in their different perspectives and combine them during their group work and class discussions. And I think also as a module coordinator and director of the program, it's really a great experience to have those different perspectives, and the discussions are basically on another level if you come from a lot of different educational backgrounds. So I think that's really helpful, and I always tell the students at the orientation that this is something they should really try to leverage. So as our student cohort is so diverse, there's also not this one clear career path. So students tend to choose the MSc in management because they want to move into a managerial role, or because they would like to upgrade into a higher management or business position. So to advance the careers is the main objective as well. So some students might even think about a career change or changing their career path completely. So for instance, someone who's worked in healthcare wants to move more into consulting, can also be focused on the healthcare industry though. So I cannot really outline one clear career path because of the diversity of our student cohort. There's a lot of different paths possible. So they are quite diverse. So management consulting, or being an account manager, or a business analyst or strategic advisor, and many more. So the companies, especially from the full-time program that students joined recently, were for instance Dell or Facebook, and obviously many more. I've included a couple on the slide here. For the part-time program, a lot of the students also use it to advance within their own organization, and again, it's quite diverse as well. So studying at UCD also will give you access to dedicated career service and advisory team, and also offers you a lot of engagement opportunities throughout the year or the 2 years of studying. So I really hope that gave you a good insight into the MSc Management Program, and we're now happy to take all your questions. And as mentioned before, we are a diverse team, so hopefully can attend to all your questions from this diverse perspective as well. So shoot on and post your questions into the chat.
Thank you, Julia. That was very insightful. We have 2 questions in the chat at the moment, and they're both the same. What is the main difference between the MSc in Business Management and the MBA?
Okay. So there are some differences in terms of the curriculum that they're having, and so as you can see on the website, if you go into the MBA program as well as going to the MSc in Management on our Smurfit website. So there's a change into this, and it's like I would say the MSc in Management, because it's still a science program, right, has also more more relation to combining kind of this theory knowledge with the with practical application to it. So I think this is one of the main differences that you might have. Will students be on campus, or will it be a blending learning experience, is another question. So yeah, there is, we aim to be back on campus beginning of the next academic year in September, August, September this year. So we can never promise what will happen. We really hope that with all the vaccines and everything, that the situation is much better. So we aim for being on campus, where there might be some online elements that depends also on the module coordinators teaching each module, but the main aim is to be on campus and be there. So is work experience required? No, not
Julia, will I answer that one? Sorry, cut across,
sure,
but
sure.
just because that's sort of our area in the admissions part, is work experience required? No, it's not. So our masters, for the most part, are pre-experienced masters. So they are designed that if you come from even a slightly different background, particularly as Julia was saying in relation to this particular masters, because it's kind of seen as a conversion masters. So in other words, if you're coming from engineering or food science or something like this, that you can come into this particular program. So you're coming solely from non-business backgrounds. So obviously no work experience is required for this as well. So I think it's about 75, nearly 76% of all of our applicants are coming direct from university. And then you have a sort of a second cohort that are kind of 2 or 3 years later are coming into us then as well. Maybe, they're looking for a better foothold into a career, or maybe they've taken a graduate role and it's kind of finished and they're looking at moving up the ladder a little bit more. So that's why they're coming back to us. But in answer to that particular question, no, it's not. And that's probably the best way I can answer that. Julia, just one quick thing on the previous question as well in relation to the campus. We in admissions have been given the sort of official line to tell anyone who's coming in. At the moment, the president of UCD obviously we all have to work in line with government recommendations, but the president has sent a circular to all of us staff there recently, just in the last few days, saying that we are planning for a normal face-to-face teaching for September. Now, as Julia exactly said, it all depends on the situation. Things are quite dynamic and things will change, but the plan very much is to make normal face-to-face teaching. And as Julia said, there may be some form of slight online for certain modules. But the Minister for Higher Education last night, actually here in Ireland, also reiterated that, and ultimately it will be his decision. So he was online last night. He was actually broadcasting from UCD. I'm sure we all saw it, saying exactly the same thing, that he is fully confident. In his own words, he said he's fully confident that we will be having a normal face-to-face experience comes this September. So I think that's just two things that we can kind of give out today at this particular event. But obviously the most important thing is to keep in contact with us, particularly us in admissions and the fellow team here and the program office as well. We'll be giving you updates as much as we can. So sorry, Jude, I kind of cut across you, but just
no, that's fully fine. So I shouldn't take all the questions. That's that's so true. Yeah. So the next question is about what exactly the global strategic management and the business simulation module involves. So yeah, for global strategic management, maybe I can hand over to Joanna, because I think you had that in the spring term, right?
Yeah, so we've just finished that last semester. I actually particularly like that subject. So basically every week we would have a lecture, a pre-recorded lecture or live lecture, depending on the week, on theory. And we were given a different case study every week to analyze ourselves and to make notes on, and to answer some key questions. And then we would have a discussion about it in class. So it was a very, definitely very applicable. So we kind of studied companies like Amazon, how their approach in different countries worked or didn't work. So it was definitely very interesting. And I think there's a good balance between the theory and kind of applied to real life, I suppose.
Yeah, thank you so much. Orna, would you like to speak about the business simulation module? Because we just finished it off with the part-time program, had a little celebration, 2-3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to finish the program. So it really is the last module that you take with us, and it's a capstone module. So it builds on your knowledge of all the previous modules you've done so far. The students are divided up into teams, so you have 4 or 5 fellow classmates on your team, and essentially you're competing with those other companies during that simulation module. So we go through a number of iterations of changes in the business environment, and your team is charged with making important business decisions. And we have some technology that allows us to play out the business implications from those scenarios and even see which company or team is most profitable and most successful at the end. So it's a great way to test your knowledge and see how you practically can apply some of the theory and concepts that you've been studying with us at the Smurfit School. And it's also a very nice, fun experience to finish the program off. The students get incredibly competitive for this last module. So it's a lot of fun to see who are the future business leaders that we see emerging in the class. Julia, I just see there's a question there about the part-time program as well in terms of the delivery. So I might bundle that in together. The profile of the part-time program is a little bit different. So we can take people directly from university level, but most people tend to be 5 or 10 years post experience with us. The program is delivered face-to-face as well as with our full-time cousins. We've pivoted online, but the resumption of face-to-face is planned for September as well. So it would be necessary to attend those classes. Because the class was for the part-time are about every month or so, we have had people in normal times who would be maybe in a sales role or a role with a lot of travel, who are living outside of Ireland and attend the classes. So we've had students complete the program from the UK, from France. I had one sales exec who used to travel from Tampa, Florida once a month to complete the program. So it is worked on the basis that students can attend the classes even if they're not residing in Ireland. So obviously there's an additional layer of complication with COVID to consider if you're looking to be a part-time student and traveling from outside of Ireland.
Yeah, thanks so much to both of you for answering the questions. The next one is a query about the difference between strategic management and the MSc in management. Obviously the main difference is that within strategic management you really have the key focus on the area of strategic management. So your modules will be designed to fit into a career within strategic management, basically, whereas the MSc in management is broader and designed for non-business students. So you have while we also include a class on global strategic management, there will be lots of other classes that focus on the other domains within management. Okay, so that's probably the main difference. There's a part-time option for the strategic management course as well, but it is along, as far as I know, along the full-time program. So you kind of you do not have them separated. All right. So maybe the last one is the next one is on if consulting is a prime industry to apply for. No, definitely not. So we have really, as I mentioned before, like very diverse career paths. That was basically just an example. So if you're also looking for a job within food industry, that shouldn't affect your application to the program, because the consulting pathway was just one example that I mentioned. We have very, very different types of pathways also depending on your prior undergraduate studies. Okay. Maybe the next question for Richard.
I'll take yeah. Ernest, hi Ernest, you're saying you're from Nigeria, you're doing a bachelor's degree in computer science in the University of the People of the United States. It's an online degree. Can you use this degree to apply or some specific schools chosen? Look, to be honest with you, because we get thousands of applications, the only way we can really properly assess your application or assess you for a particular course is by making an actual application, because we don't just look at obviously your transcripts and your academics. We also look at your, we look at things like your CV as well, if you've got work experience, or we look at maybe you've taken the Gmat test or other things, and also your essay questions. So there's a sort of holistic view that we take. But I will say this though, that where a lot of the universities in the United States, I'm not too sure I've heard of that one before myself, but we have various tools that we look at and that kind of rank universities. So I think the best thing to say is, look, you can either drop an email into smurfit.admissions@ucd.ie, and we'll maybe progress the conversation separately, and maybe just go from there. But a lot of the purely online degrees, they might not meet the conversion into what we need to come into one of our masters. That's just from previous experience. That's not to say in this case that is the case, but Ernest, what I'd say to you there is just to take this offline, drop us an email into the admissions office, and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. Also a Gmat is not required, maybe to specifically.
Sorry, I just see that there. Yeah, is Gmat required? No, Gmat is required for none of our courses other than the MBA. Now, if you've taken a Gmat, or if you're doing one because you're applying to another school and you've got a good score, by all means include it.
Okay.
You don't. Definitely, if you take one, do include it.
Yeah. Then there's a question by Maria, if she has studied accounting and finance, so which master is better, the MSc in management or the MSc in accounting and financial management? It's really difficult to tell from that perspective. So what I would do is basically compare the two curricula from both the MSc in accounting and financial management and the MSc in management to see what has been covered in your previous class. And also depends, obviously, if you want to specialize further in accounting and financial management, then the MSc in accounting and financial management will probably be the better option, because the MSc in management will teach the foundations of corporate finance and accounting, but don't go any further or even more deeper into that. So maybe take a look at the website and check the two curriculum for the two classes. Then there's a question by Sarah. Is there an option to specialize in a specific field because so many fields are covered in this course? Or is the point of the course that all fields are taught equally? So maybe Neve, would you like to say?
Yeah, no problem. There's no way of, all modules are core modules. So you take part in each module. There's one module that's worth 2.5 credits, and the rest are 7.5 credits. So they're all equally taught, and all students get equal opportunities in the modules. Yeah,
that's right. So you basically have your course outline set when you start. So does a candidate have to already be in a managerial role to make the most out of the master's degree? And what roles would recruiters consider someone with a degree for? So you do not have to work in a managerial role to apply. It's basically more your aspiration to grow into that role. As mentioned before, like a lot of students come directly from the undergraduate studies, especially for the full-time program. So is basically no prior experience required. So what roles would recruiter consider someone with the degree for? I don't know, Joanna, do you feel comfortable saying something because you're currently in the application process, or how those things are going?
Yeah, well, there's quite a mix. So myself, I did architecture for my undergraduate degree, and I wanted to go to the project management side, so that's why I chose the management masters. So I've currently got a job with an engineering company starting in September. But if I look at my pod group at the moment, there's someone who was a nurse, and she has now just landed, actually the other day, a job with a tech sales company. There's also another girl who wants to go into property, and someone who has a finance background wanting to go into the food background. So I think he's looking at board BIA, things like that. But I do think from doing interviews, you have a lot to talk about. So even listing your modules, like you feel like you have a good knowledge of very different areas, and I think that probably makes you quite employable. It makes you quite flexible, and also gives you a door in the future if you do want to change. You kind of have knowledge in different areas.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a good fresh insight into the current recruiting situation, mate. Thanks so much. So what technical skills are expected from fresh management graduates? I guess it really highly depends on which route you want to take. There might be very low expectations of technical skills, but there might be for certain roles, especially in some of the tech industry, further knowledge. It depends really where you want to head and what kind of route you want to go. So it's difficult to generalize it. This just jumped. I think I just jumped questions. Sorry. Is there a sample of profiles for a selected candidate to understand what kind of things make a way for selection? No, we don't have like a disguised profile of the perfect candidate, just because the career path here, especially in the MSc Management, is super diverse, and there's not one career path and therefore also not one profile, because they come from so many different backgrounds. What they bring, what they can bring into is definitely the diverse knowledge in the different management areas. So we cover really the key components of management, and definitely what is highly thought for is basically problem solving, critical thinking, flexibility, being able to apply knowledge, which is quite important to us, to business solutions. And this is basically some of the skill sets that the students when they leave UCD also bring into the market, and this is highly requested and thought for, like in the recruiting market.
Can I just come in on that one as well, just
sure,
briefly, just also in the admissions office when we're selecting people. So look, I know what your question is there, but I think particularly with this course, the MSc Management, it's such a varied background. As Julia's already said, so we have people coming from, arts backgrounds, social sciences, engineering. It's great, and it adds a really great diverse pool of students into the particular program. And again, lots of different nationalities. It's a really great sort of program for diversity reasons. So we don't have a standards candidate, unlike say our finance, where we'd be looking at people who have strong quantitative skills or things like that. So to be honest with you, I think one of the main things, exactly what Julie just mentioned there, all those attributes are good. And also one of the key things is motivation. So we want to see in admissions is that, if you're coming from a completely different background, why is it that you want to do business, that you've really thought this? And there's 2 essay questions on the application form where you get a chance to explain this. And that's where we really look to see that you've really thought as to why you want to go, say, from an engineering background into, say, business, or you want to combine the two, you want to continue with engineering, but with a business sort of area. So I think that's the key thing. So it's really good motivation, and that you've really thought through your course, and that you've researched this, that you've attended things like this online and things like that. So I think that's what we can say about that. And actually, Julia, I might just answer the next one just really quickly, is the MSc in International Management, because I actually look after the admissions for that one as well. The MSc in International Management is definitely, it's a good question. It's not to be confused with obviously this particular program, the MSc in Management. The International Management is a very different course. It's part of our SEMS Alliance network. So there's other top 32 business schools from around the world. You would do a semester with them as well as a semester with us. And there's also other things like an internship and a business project as well. So it's quite a different program. There's other electives, whereas the MSc in Management, as we've already explained, is a set program that kind of covers, it's very comprehensive, covers 13 different areas of that really you should know across all areas, from marketing, finance, etc. So it's quite a different one. But if you want more information, get on to us in admissions. We're happy to help.
Yeah, and the MSc in International Management also is mostly for students that have prior knowledge on business and management.
Exactly.
So that's completely different class, or different program. So Niamh, do we currently have any latest figures on the placements for this course? Or
Yep, I was just actually looking it up myself because this would be a careers answer that they would have all the data, but they updated on the website, and the latest update on the website is 89% of the graduates from the program were employed after 6 months in a variety of different positions right across the board in different sectors to include management consulting analyst, account manager, business analyst, portfolio administrator, supply planner, lead development, and the students get or alumni get placed into. Yeah, so 89% roughly after 6 months.
Yeah, and actually, can I just add in really quickly as well, just that I see there is quite a lot of questions about where you might do afterwards, and obviously it's more of a careers you know, sort of area, and careers are actually having a talk, I think, is it now or 12:30, I think, so you could definitely tune in for that. But the other thing is, it sounds like a really obvious answer. Go to LinkedIn, and this is what a lot of our applicants do, prospective students do as well. Go to LinkedIn, type in MSc Management Smurfit, and you'll see a huge variety of where people have gone on to. So it's a really good tool for just checking that out for a quick answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks so much. Would you also like to take the question about the accreditation?
Yeah, sure. We are. Yes, we're triple crown accreditation. So only 1% less than actually 1% of all business schools around the world and have this particular accreditation. So we're AACSB and the others as well. You can check them on online as well. Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much. Then there's a question about when the orientation is going to happen. So yeah,
that would be me. So orientation is going to be for we're working on the dates at the moment, and we hope to have them as soon as possible. But the orientation will take place this week of the 6th of September, and it'll be one of those days, and it generally goes on for about 3 hours. And we try and make it as fun as possible. And then there's a career section, and there's meet all a few different module coordinators, and introduction to Ireland if you're new to Ireland, and there's introduction to the course and the coordinators and Julia Backmann. So it's actually quite a fun day to have, but we will hopefully have those dates solidified soon for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of the part-time orientation, that's the 27th of August. And there'll be program orientation. We go through some of the key academic skills that you'll need in the business area. Report writing, academic writing, get people working in their teams and getting to know each other. So 27th of August for the part-time students.
Great. Orna, would you like to speak about the part-time class times as well?
Yep. So I suppose we've over 20 years experience in doing part-time provision for students, and the structure that has worked best based on the feedback from students is on the Fridays and Saturdays. So the classes for the part-time students are approximately once a month on a Friday and a Saturday. You 3 modules that you take at any one time, and you'd have the classes for each of those modules across the full trimester. You have approximately 3 to 4 hours as the class time per module. People, as we've said, are coming from very diverse backgrounds, lots of different industries, lots of different levels of responsibility. So they tend to be very interactive and enjoyable classes. It's not a traditional lecture style experience. They tend to be a lot of interaction and discussion. So yes, that once a month structure works very well for us, and that the students find that you just have to take a full Friday off, or if possible, we try and have it on a Friday afternoon and give them as much flexibility as possible in terms of campus attendance. Students all know their dates in advance for a year of what weekends will be in play, so that the students who are going into first year this year, we'll be able to tell them what their dates are actually for the next academic year. Again, we understand part-time students have an awful lot of commitments, so as much prior knowledge as possible is very helpful.
Yeah, so if you would like to know more, like we can also give you, like, write us an email. We can already give you the timelines for the next academic year. We already have that mostly fixed. Yeah. So what are your suggestions for a profile with technical background and looking into entering the financial domain? So the MSc Management will definitely give you background in key financial courses and classes, but obviously, I would also recommend that you take a look into the other courses that are outlined to actually see which of those would actually more suit your needs. So yeah, also feel free to reach out to admissions for further questions about any specific career path that you're looking for. So we can obviously also look into this a little bit more. but yeah, the MSc in Management definitely gives you financial background knowledge, but is not a deep dive into the financial area. So just to have that clear.
Yeah, and yeah, thanks. And just to add, just that if you are from, you say, a technical background, you know, I presume that kind of means that it could be anything from engineering to sort of, you know, I think what we look for our finance programs is that you have quantitative skills. So if it's a separate conversation, as I say, that you have it with us in admissions, and we'll be able to maybe recommend a better course for you. If you are really keen on getting solely into finance, then we have 4 or 5 different finance programs that might be more suitable. So take that offline and reach out to us at admissions, and we'd be happy to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks so much. I do not fully understand the next question about the ME management degree done by UCD.
Yeah, there's so does the engineering school have it's mechanical engineering management degree. So it's obviously, it's combining you know, your interest in mechanical engineering or, you know, engineering and a few aspects of the business as well. Would it be vastly different? It depends again. So if you're coming from an engineering background and you want to bring those kind of skills, you can do this particular course, MSc in Management, with us, where you'll learn much more comprehensive skills around the business subjects than you say you would do in the mechanical engineering one. So look, I think the key thing I can say to you is obviously have a chat to us about the Masters in Management, have a chat to the engineering department about the ME in Management. And then, you know, I suppose it really is up to you as to what you want to do afterwards. You know, do you want to stay only in sort of the engineering field, or do you want to have your door opened to many other sectors with our MSc in Management? I think that's kind of key thing you need to decide.
Yeah, thank you. And there's another question about the International Management Program, because it's very highly ranked. As mentioned before, it's a really different program because it is within the SAMS network and within a lot of other universities across Europe and yeah, basically all over the globe as well. So, and it requires that you also study 1 semester, 1 term abroad. It is not ideal for students who do not have an undergraduate knowledge of management and business, because it's it doesn't cater for non-business graduates. So if you do not have any knowledge in that area before, it will be quite tough to succeed in the program, I'd say. So it's completely designed in a different way. I don't know, Richard, if you want to say.
You summed it up. That's it exactly. Look, it's designed for top business students from around the world. So if you're coming from a non-business background, first of all, you won't be eligible for it. And secondly, it's an extremely competitive program. It's ranked 8th in the world by the Financial Times. So look, it's a very prestigious program we have. So it's not at all downplaying our MSc in Management. It's a fantastic program, but they're very different. The MSc in Management is a conversion sort of master's coming from a non-business background to do business. The SEMS International Management Program is only for top business students to become very successful within that kind of very specific business area as well. So I think that kind of sums it up. But again, reach out to us if you're coming from a business background about the SEMS program.
Yeah. All right, maybe a question for Joanna again about the difficulty level of the financial modules. So how did you find them?
I suppose I had some experience with kind of maths from my undergrad, but I suppose it was kind of a subject I was kind of worrying about a little bit. But, you know, in my group, there was people with, you know, maths backgrounds, economics, engineering. So they were really helpful as well. But also the support system from the each module coordinator is amazing. So if you need extra help, or even I think Neve reached out to a past pupil for me. So there's a good support system, I suppose. And I actually really enjoyed the module because I think it's a very different way of teaching than maybe if you haven't done maths since leaving cert or your school exams, because it's very applicable. It's not just the theory, and I think you can understand it much more easily.
Yeah,
personally, anyway.
Yeah, and we also have the students pass these modules, right? Even if you do not have the numeric background, and the support structures are there, as Joanna also mentioned. both from the faculty side, but also from the student perspective. Because of the diversity, we usually also have lots of people that have done a lot of numeric and quantitative studies before. Richard, would you like to speak very briefly about potential scholarships or any type of aid for international students?
No problem, Julia. There's two questions there. I'll just briefly on the scholarships. I'll actually copy and paste a link into the chat here in a second. But a lot of our scholarships are closed. They're highly competitive. So first thing I always have to say is, look, don't rely on getting a scholarship in order to fund your program here, but by all means apply. There's some that you apply for, there's other ones that you're automatically considered for. At this stage in the year, we're kind of mid-June, a lot of them are kind of closed off. So if you haven't applied already, it might be too late. But look, I'll copy the link in just a second. And then just Julia, if I might take Ross's question there, just in relation to business experience, your undergrad degree is law and master's both in law. I think we touched on this already, that you don't need to have any business experience for this particular program. So if you're coming from a law background, we actually get, isn't it fair, Julia? We get quite a lot actually come from law backgrounds, and they do very well from this particular program. So that's definitely something you could be considered for.
Yeah, thanks so much. Can you also speak about the application process for this academic year, the upcoming year?
So that's, can we still apply, isn't it, for the 20? It's slightly dependent on where you're coming from. So we have sort of regional caps and for diversity reasons and things like this. So at the moment we're open for some regions, but we're closed for other regions. So again, that's just something you need to contact us in the admissions office, and we'll be able to tell you more about that.
And where can we obtain the recordings of these talks?
These are actually going up on online after this event. There's an event page that you should have registered, and a link will be sent to you then afterwards to access this event page, again with not only the recordings of this talk but also of other talks that may not feature on today's open days that we've had before. So other courses that may not feature today. So do refer back, and then again also don't forget to, I'll copy the link in on that as well in a second. You can reach out to our current students to have a talk to them through our ambassador program, through our website as well. So that's actually, there's a lot of good ambassadors there. So we appreciate that. Yeah,
thanks. Maybe Niamh, a question for you, what the class timetables are for the full-time class, and if it would be like 2-3 hours of classes a day, and would it suit people with a flexible work schedule?
The management course is quite intense. Joanna, you might be able to link in on this as well. So you would have in the autumn trimester, you have 5 modules, and in the spring and summer, you have 4 modules that you have to complete. And each of those modules roughly have about 3 hours per week. And then on top of that, you have group sessions that you participate in, and then you have your work, you have individual assignments and group assignments. So it can be quite intense. So my advice is for anybody who's, with regards to having a full-time or part-time job, it may not suit it. Now that's the difference between having a job that you're maybe just facilitating a little, a side job, but a real kind of professional job. It can be quite hard to balance both the academic side of things and also the professional side of things. So the timetable should be available midsummer, latest August, and this should be available for the students then.
Yeah, thank you. And Joanna, would you like to add something, or is there, how are your fellow students currently like coping with the workload? So,
in terms of part-time jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I do have a part-time job. I do 15 to 20 hours, but I didn't for the first semester, just so I could get kind of a feeling of, how I worked. I suppose it depends on how you work. If you do want a part-time job, you do have to be organized and you have to prioritize your time. And you also have to think about group dynamics as well. So in terms of organizing meetings, but it is manageable because I know we all have bills to pay as students. So, we have to have some income somewhere. But yeah, I'm currently managing 15 to 20 hours. As Niamh said, full-time job is not possible just because of the hours of lectures. I don't think you could do that really.
yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Actually, it's not possible given the intense workload. Obviously, with the part-time program, that would be a possibility to study over 2 years while doing full-time work. So that's definitely fine. So yeah, there's another question about college selection of the MSc in International Management.
I think just best to say that it's not relevant to this particular talk. So just reach out to us in the admissions department and we'll talk to you more about that one in particular. And then actually, Julia, just really quickly for Joseph's last question. We're about to get kicked off here by our IT department who are probably pulling their hair out. So sorry for going over. But just Joseph's last question in relation to the careers. The next talk after this is actually the careers talk. So do tune into that, because they'll talk a little bit about that, but they actually reach out to you during the summer to, for example, update your CV, get things ready before you start. That's part of one of the key benefits of our careers team. So they'll talk more about that as well, and then potentially other elements, and also that you'll be able to reach out to them directly through the SIS web portal, I think, as well. So just definitely key things there, but that's enough for that. Thanks, Joseph.
Yeah, so yeah, I think there are no further questions and we should be coming to an end as well. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and for joining us for the session. Thank you so much also Orna, Neve, Joanna and Richard for being here and sharing your knowledge and experience with us. So yeah, if you have any further questions, yeah, just reach out to us, either admissions, Neve, Orna or myself. Also, yeah, current students who can give you further insights about their current study experiences. And yeah, thanks for joining and hope to see you on campus in September.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.